we're going to talk about the steps of the stall close. So here's the reality, right? You're doing a demo, you're at the booth, there's 100 other vendors around, it's a big show. You need to expect that you're going to get an objection from a brand new customer the first time that they look at Cutco, because literally 5, maybe 10 minutes ago, they didn't know who you are. More than likely, they didn't even know what Cutco was. Maybe they'd heard of it if you're lucky, but ultimately, like, they've never seen it before. Now they're looking at it for the very first time. And maybe this morning they didn't even plan on getting up and actually going out and shopping for knives. It's very rare that happens, you know, the walk-up sales, but most people, like, you've literally taken them in a matter of minutes from zero not knowing about Cutco to let's consider spending thousands of dollars that we were not planning on spending. You should just expect that they're going to want to think about it, or they're going to want to talk about it, or they're going to want to have a card and call you back. They're going to go online and do research. There's just going to be some reason that they're going to want to, you know, think about it. So, you know, I just expect that that's going to be an objection that I'm going to get, and I just make sure that I'm 100% completely prepared to handle that objection. There's so many people nationwide that are sharing this training on how to stall with the customer in a strategic way that leads to them understanding why it's in their best interest to go ahead and get it today. What I want to share with you today is the actual steps. Like, what is the framework? What are the steps that you need to follow to do this properly? The moment that a customer says, okay, awesome, we're going to think about it, or okay, awesome, we'll be back, or okay, awesome, do you have a card and can we call you? Can we go online? Whatever, right? Those are all buying questions. Those are all statements that they say we're interested. There's just still something that we need to figure out. So there's a couple things that you want to do. Number one is, you obviously, if somebody's going to walk around and think about it, you want to write it down. You also want to make sure that whatever it is that they're going to walk around and think about, that you've got the right package and the right price. Because if it's not the right package, they don't think they're going to use it, or it's not the right price, which means that they're not comfortable budgeting for it, it's way out of their budget, then there's no sense in them walking around looking at something like that, because you just automatically, they're not going to buy anything. So when you do the stall close, what's cool is you're able to uncover if either one of those are objections, and if they are, you can easily drop down, show them a different package, or if they're very clear with you, show them a different price, or if they're not very clear with you, many times what it is it's not the money and it's not the knives. They're going to use it and they can afford it. They just need a little extra push. They're just still on the fence and they're not sure, or they just need a little space to talk about it, consider it. They just need you to help facilitate the conversation, help them find the best decision for them moving forward. They just need a little bit of an incentive, basically, is what it is. Here's what we do. As soon as a customer says, I'm going to walk around and think about it, okay, cool, let me go and write that down for you. You start writing it down for them. And then what you want to do is you want to ask some confirmation questions. So just so I'm sure that I'm writing down the right thing for you, if you were to get this, you would get this package right here, right? Yes? Okay, cool. And what color would you want to do? Okay, that color, great. If you're talking about a block set, hey, what color would you want your block to be? Okay, great. And if you did do this, would you pay for it all at once, or would you do it out over the payments? What would you prefer? What would be best for you? Again, you get that information, you get that commitment, right? Hey, I just want to make sure if you were to get this set, you would see yourself using all of this. So this is the right set for you. Is that true? Yes? Okay, cool. And I'm just curious, like, if you were to do this today, is that something you could swing in the budget if you really wanted to? Right? That's a key question, because if they're like, no, honestly, I really couldn't, well, you need to drop down to a different package. But if they're like, oh yeah, that's not a problem, the money's not a problem, like, we just need to think about it. Okay, cool, no problem. And I'm just curious, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, and it's very important, I've found, to ask this question at this point, because you just got them to make decisions. So if you ask this question at the beginning, those decisions, they may be a 5 at the very beginning, but after you ask these questions and they've made, the color decision, the payment decision, they've confirmed that they'll use the package, they've confirmed that they could afford it if they really wanted to, well, maybe they would actually be an 8 or a 7, simply because they're convincing themselves and answering these questions for you, right? But you're writing these things down on the sheet, then you ask, on a scale of 1 to 10, how interested are you really? Like, 1 would be like, you're totally not interested, you were just getting some information, and 10 being like, you love it, you're ready to buy it, and you would do it right now. And then you're gonna get some form of a rating. If they give me a 5 or higher, I just celebrate that. I'm like, oh, cool, that's 50% of the way there. High five. We're at least making, that's a good thing. Oh, 7 out of 10, that's awesome. We're 70% of the way there. That's an awesome, high five. That's actually a really good thing, right? I just celebrate and positively reinforce that for them. And then based on where their rating is, I know what I may need to offer them in order to get them off the fence. Because I'm only asking the rating question if they're actually, telling me that, yes, this is the right package. Yes, this is how I would pay for it, and yes, I would use it, and yes, I could afford it if I really wanted to, right? So in that moment, now where we're at I've got all the information I need. Now I just need to write down the price for the customer. Now I just need to put my name on the deal pad, my number down, my location. That takes a minute. It's okay for that to take a little bit of time. So while we do that, we just build a little rapport, right? Ask a rapport building question. Deepen the connection. Show them that you're about more than just trying to sell them knives. Actually show them that you care about them as humans. Make them feel like people, not just a dollar sign or a number. Have a conversation for 2 minutes or a minute or whatever. Get them talking about something cool they've seen at the show, something cool they do at home, what they do for a job, what they love about each other, how long they've been married, how many kids they have, what kind of cooking they do, whatever. Just get them talking, right? And connecting on something that, that you're interested in so that you can create something in common with them. And then at some point, the next step is you've just got to, explain to them like, hey, you know what, can I be real with you? And this is where we just give them a very clear understanding of what happens if and when you walk away and why that's not in their best interests and how committed we are to earning their business and the value that they get from choosing to allow us to earn their business from them, and what that means for them in the future. And then we just got to ask, like, would they be open to hearing an awesome offer? And if so, would they be willing to consider doing this now instead of waiting until later? And in that moment, when we walk through that very clear emotional conversation with the customer, and then we ask a really clear quality leading question, if the customer has any interest at all and they really don't need to think about it, well, then what they're going to do is they're going to say, well, what kind of deal could you offer me? Or it depends on the deal, or what are we talking about? Or they're going to ask some form of a buying question, or they're just going to say, yeah, actually, I'd be interested. I'd be willing to consider it. And at that point now, we are in a position to be able to provide them an awesome incentive that would push them off the fence or get them over the fence and into our yard, right? And join in the family. So how do we do that? I'll just role play it really quick for you. Again, the steps are, hey, let me go ahead and write that down for you. You start writing it down. You ask them the decision questions. Once you've gotten the decision questions done, you ask the confirmation questions. Once you've got the confirmation questions done and this is the right package and it's not about the price, then you ask for the rating, celebrate whatever it is that they say if it's 5 or higher, and then you go into the actual emotional conversation. Can I be really direct with you? Have that conversation. Ask the Turbo Ridiculous deal question to transition and see if they would have any interest in considering it now. And if they do, go give them the incentive and get that deal closed. So I'll role play it really quick. Brian says to me, hey, I want to think about it. Hey, cool, Brian, no problem. That's totally cool. Let me go and write it down for you before you leave. I'm giving them permission to leave, right? So let me go and write that down. They're like, yeah, sure. Okay, Brian, what's your number? Okay, cool. So just to be sure I'm writing the right stuff down here, I'm just curious. So if you were to do this, you would get this set right here, right? Okay, awesome. And if you were to do that, what color would you want? Boom. Okay, and what color would you want on the black? On the block, the light or the dark stain? The light stain. Okay, awesome. And if you were to do that, like, is that something you would pay for all at once, or do you like the idea of doing the payments? Payments. Okay, awesome. So I'll write down that information for you. Hey, I'm just curious, like, if you had that package right there, I know you said that would be the set you would get, but would you use all of that if you had it? You would? Okay, that's awesome. And just to confirm, like, I'm just curious, like, if you were to do that, is that something that you could swing in the budget if you really wanted to without breaking the bank? It is? Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm just, Brian, I'm curious on a scale of 1 to 10, just so that we have this, just so I know, how interested are you actually in getting this? Like 1 being like you're totally not interested, you were just curious, and now you've got the information you need, and 10 being like you love it, you're ready to buy it, like, you're just, like, you would hand me your credit card right now. Okay, you're a 7? Hey man, that's awesome. 7 out of 10, that's 70%. That's awesome, man. That's great. High five. All right, cool. So great. Well, let me go ahead and write down the price. Just say, hey, you know what, Brian? I'm just curious. Like, while I've got you here, can I just be super direct with you right now? Yeah. Okay. So, dude, I've been doing this for 17 years, and and this isn't my first rodeo. And if you're at the rodeo, that's a fun one. They like to laugh at that. So, this isn't my first rodeo. And here's the deal. Like, people tell me all of the time that they're going to walk around, think about it, and come back. And you know what usually happens? You're right, yeah, they don't ever come back. And it's not because they don't like me or they don't like Cutco. It's just because, it's a big show. It's a busy day. There's lots to see. And usually by the time somebody even thinks about it again, they're already at the car, or they just got home and they're starting to cook with their old crappy knives. And they're like, oh crap, I forgot to go back and get those knives I was planning on getting anyways. So here's the deal, man. I can tell that you really like it. I can tell you really need it. It seems like we're on the perfect set here for you. And it seems like, price, it's really not about the price. Like, you could afford it if you really wanted to. And I mean, dude, you're a 7 out of 10 right now. So I would really love to earn your business. I would really love to be your Cutco guy, simply because I know how much you're gonna love this stuff. And when you shop with me, you're gonna get great service. I'm gonna take care of your sharpening in the future. I'm gonna make sure that any time that you need me, I'm available, and that you feel really well taken care of, and that you're getting world-class service. So instead of you walking around thinking about it and maybe not even coming back, just because you forgot, I'm just curious, like, if I offered you a turbo, ridiculous, killer sweet deal right now, would you consider doing it now so that you don't have to worry about coming back? That's it, boom, right? You ask the question, if they say yes or whatever, then the moment that you have permission to show them a better deal, now you just have to justify why you're giving them that deal, right? Why it's actually okay to give them the deal. You can't just be like, throw it out there like you're just brushing off your shoulder, like, I'll just take $100 off. How's that sound? Right? You got to make it feel special. You have to help them understand this is a special deal just for them. So, how do you do that? Well, what I do is I've followed Seth Kinzer's model, which he's definitely a master at this. And Seth just ties them into his big goal for the event and as a team, and then his little goal that he's got with his girlfriend or whoever he's working with that day in the booth, right? So it's like, hey, you know what? Here's the deal. We got this really big goal that we're working on, and we're super committed to hitting our goals as a team. We want to break a national record, or we want to, sell this much as a team because that'll be our best event ever. And we're super committed to making that happen. Every order counts right now. Plus, I'm in this contest. You see that person over there? Yeah, well, we got this bet going on, and here's the thing you got to know about me. I love winning. I hate losing. And so, I need your help on this. So, so here's what I'm willing to do for you, right? If you want to go ahead and do it today, I'm willing to blank. Throw in some free stuff as a bonus, or, give them a discount off the price, or do bells and whistles and a little bit of both. Whatever you feel they need to get them over the edge, but make them feel really special. This isn't something I do for everybody. You just have to promise me, if I do this deal for you, you'll only buy from me in the future, that I'll be your Cutco guy or gal. You get that commitment from them, and then boom, you reveal the deal. And when you reveal the deal, if it's good enough, they're gonna go, let's do it, right? Or if they kind of look at each other, but they're being really quiet and giving you that awkward eyes, then you just go, hey, you know what? I'm gonna let you guys talk about this for a second. You slide the pad across the table and you just turn around and walk away. Go grab a drink of water, go talk to your buddy in the booth, get down on your knees under the table like you're grabbing something. Just do something to disconnect from them and give them the space to actually talk about it. And then you pop back up and go, so what do you guys think? And again, it's just real friendly, it's real casual, it's very honest and very direct. It's also very emotional, and you're making it about them choosing to become a part of something that's much bigger than themselves. And that's something that humans just want to be a part of in general. And so it's the recipe for success when it comes to stalling with customers who just want to walk around and think about it, and giving them the space that they need and giving them the reason that they need to go ahead and say yes right now.